Hi Virgo, this is your horoscope for February 2017. Thanks for joining me. It's really nice to be with you today. Now, on the 4th of February, Venus, the planet of love and beauty and creativity, goes into Aries in your 8th house. Now, the planet of love in Aries is much more driven than it usually would be, and you're really focused in this case on making a positive contribution to the work that you're doing. So whatever institution you belong to, whether it's a company or a hospital or a prison, you're really going to do your utmost and work your hardest. It's also a really great time to tackle kind of anything legal, any sort of bureaucratic things that you have to deal with, contracts, signing leases, hiring new people, asking for a promotion, getting the extension on your house approved, anything legal like that. You're going to have the energy and the actual presence of mind to deal with that kind of thing, which you don't always have. Okay, on the 5th of February, Jupiter, the lucky planet, goes retrograde. And Jupiter is an outer planet. The outer planets stay in retrograde for a long time. Jupiter is going to be in retrograde until the 10th of June, but most outer planets stay in retrograde like half a year. So they're not as significant as the personal planets when they go retrograde: Mercury, Mars, Venus. When Jupiter goes retrograde, it's a really good time to reevaluate and to become reflective and to look at the ways you're doing things. And in this case, it's the way you work with other people and what you're getting out of that financially and how you create abundance and prosperity in your own life. So use that time to look at what you're doing. You really care about your job at the moment. You're doing a really good job and you're really working very hard. Are you being kind of receiving back from that institution what you're putting into it? Or would it make more sense to kind of make a change to how you work or where you work or how you're creating an income for yourself? These are the kind of things where you'll get a lot of insights and a lot of positive answers that'll help you to improve your day-to-day experience. On the 7th of February, Mercury goes into Aquarius. Mercury is your ruler, remember? And Mercury in Aquarius is very scientific and very reasonable and very rational, and it thinks clearly. It's sitting on top of your midheaven in Aquarius, and your sun is also in Aquarius in your 6th house. So you're going to do a lot of thinking about your work. Is this right? Am I making a difference? Am I being paid enough? Are they taking advantage of me? Am I being celebrated? It's important that you do engage with this process because you can make things better. If you're self-employed, then if you're working, 100 hours a week, I'm exaggerating, is there a way for you to work less hard to maintain your income, but also to not burn yourself out and run yourself into the ground? So engage with that process. It won't feel tedious. You will get inspiration and you will get some good insights on that. On the 11th of February, the full moon in Leo occurs, and it's also a lunar eclipse. So I always make separate videos on the full moons and new moons, just to go into more detail because they can be a bit complicated. This full moon in Leo happens in your 12th house. So there's this spiritual lion that awakens inside of you, and you feel like you can take on the world and you can overcome obstacles and you can really tackle things that usually you would feel are beyond you, like these huge insurmountable obstacles. You'll be able to take those on and go for it. Also, the eclipse, the lunar eclipse, it's happening on the North Node, so it's pulling energy in. So that Leo energy is being pulled in, but also the North Node is in Virgo in your sign. So you feel more yourself. You feel like you can make good decisions. You feel like if you're being critical for a reason. You can sort the good from the bad, and you can really get this moment of clarity when it comes to your career and your work and what you're doing with your life. If you're a 25-year-old beautiful girl and you've got the whole world open to you and you're working in some sort of back office alphabetizing things, and you've been doing that for 3 years and you make a pittance and you live in a tiny little shoebox, then maybe it's time to listen to that inner lion and to say, let's blow this up and let's do something that is at my level. And even if it seems insurmountable, I'm in this country because I have a work visa and I can't just let go of this job because what am I going to do then? Those are the kind of bureaucratic obstacles that you can handle this month. On the 14th, we've got through until the 1st of March, so 14th of February until the 1st of March, last 2 weeks of the month, we've got Mars and Pluto forming a square. And Mars is the planet of drive and desire, and Pluto is about transformation and change. Now, these only square each other once every 2 years, and it heightens the threat level. It means that things become combustible and potentially can blow up. Okay, so Mars is in Aries in your 8th. You're really focused on work at the moment, and you're really focused on making things better. Pluto is sitting in Capricorn in your 5th house. It's going to be irresponsible and say, this really isn't fun, I don't want to do this anymore, I just want to be irresponsible and just go flit off somewhere. That's usually not particularly helpful. Sometimes you need to do that because you will survive. If you lose your job today, it could be a terrible loss now, but somehow you will survive and you will get through it. So if you're someone who has been stuck in a terrible job, like that example I mentioned earlier, then it's not that irresponsible to say this isn't fun anymore and I'm not doing it. On the other hand, what it's going to do is it's going to make you question the validity and the usefulness of your relationships. So really be careful about making major changes to your personal, especially your romantic, intimate relationships, because you're going to be focusing on this from the perspective of how is this serving me? You're not particularly considerate with all that Aries, Mars, Venus, Uranus energy in your 8th. What you are considering is your needs, what you want, and how you feel. So I wouldn't make any big decisions. I would leave that until early March when it comes to romantic relationships. Also on the 14th of February through until the 9th of March, Mars and Uranus begin to conjunct. Now Mars is the archetypal male. It's the desire to do and to overcome and to just blow obstacles out of your way. And Uranus is really the subversive, eccentric rebel who really just wants to bring the whole system down. And when these two come together, it's like me. I'm going to do things. I'm going to really do things my own way. So be very careful, because even though you're working very hard and you're focusing on that, it may be that you become like a loose cannon and you just decide to throw the procedures out the window and you do them yourself. So be very careful that you don't get carried away with yourself. Instead, focus on other ways of earning an income, being in a job that feels that is kind of on your level, that makes sense to you. What's also going to be important this month is that you feel like your job makes a positive contribution. So there's a lot of kind of conflicting energy here when it comes to work. Do I give my all to this and do I just go for it, or do I pull back and do something on my own? Be reflective. The key word or the thing to watch out for this month is being rash and making things happen overly. I thought about it 2 seconds ago and now I'm going to do it. Think about it a little bit more. Yes, make changes if they feel right, but don't just instantly go from change to change to change just because it feels exciting in that moment. Now that energy continues throughout February. Then on the 26th of February, we've got Mercury going into Pisces in your 7th, and this makes a big change to your focus. Now you become very self-sacrificing and very kind of interested in your relationships and how you can make those better, and you become very holistic in your approach and very forgiving. On the 26th of February also we have a new moon in Pisces, which is also a solar eclipse, which happens on the south node. So it's really interesting because it pulls in a lot of Pisces energy. So you're going to be very, very understanding and compassionate and intuitive around this time, especially when it comes to your relationships. But there'll also be the possibility with this eclipse to let go of past disappointments, past hurts, past pains, and to really get a relationship back on track. And to really draw a line under whatever happened and to start fresh. So it looks like a really intense month. There's a lot going on. You can make positive changes. Biggest gift here is Jupiter going retrograde, giving you the ability to reflect and to decide how you're going to make changes which will influence you positively in the long term moving forward. So that's what I get for you for February. If you would like a private reading with me, then please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. I can draw up your personal birth chart based on your place of birth, date of birth, and time of birth. We can put these transits around your birth chart and see how this impacts you specifically on the day you were born as a Virgo. If you'd like to do that, then please get in touch via gregoryscott.com. Click on the Readings tab to order your reading. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, and I will speak to you next month.